The minute I wrote my first book, I immediately noticed a shift in my networking. Now, today I'm going to teach you guys how to use your book to expand your network at an absolutely rapid pace and how you can use your book to get in touch with people that maybe you couldn't have gotten in touch without your book. So what happened was I released my first book and I noticed a big difference. What I saw was people started replying at much higher rates and with much faster response times. People started to introduce me to other people. People started inviting me to connect beyond the initial outreach message. Once this started to happen, I tried to process why. Why was this happening? What was going on here? Why was my network growing so quickly? And I realized that I had just uncovered a secret strategy to building your network. And that was having a book. Because gone were the days where I was just a random person reaching out in a sea of a million other cold outreaches. Now I was a best-selling author with a book that showed my expertise. So I wasn't a jabroni anymore. I wasn't this random joke. I wasn't this guy who just was trying to meet anybody and everybody that I could. I had intention. I had a book. I had credibility. I was, in their eyes, somebody worth connecting with. I immediately skipped the line of all of the other emails that were being sent out. I think back to my college days when I was really focused on how do I get my resume seen? I would go to a career fair and I remember always going there trying to say, like, how do I get my resume seen? And I remember always having a bunch of piles of resume at all of these different companies' desks and their booths. And these piles always looked the same, hundreds of resumes. They'd grab one from the student and they'd put it down. And I started to think about this. I said, what if there was a different color paper that I could use or a different texture of paper that I could use to maybe differentiate myself? And so what I did was I used a slightly different color, nothing unprofessional. I wasn't using neon pink or anything like that, but I used this cream color and it was a little bit thicker. And I believe it's actually called resume paper, but it wasn't your standard 8.5 by 11 piece of white printing paper. And what I noticed was that I would put my resume into this pile, and even as I walked away, I could see it. And naturally, human beings are creatures of curiosity. And so what happened was the resume that I would submit, or people that would submit that also use the same strategy, would get seen. They would get seen more often because they found a way to differentiate themselves amongst all the other people competing for the same attention or the same job. And this is the same concept, okay? How do we, in a pool of millions of people using email, using LinkedIn, using different platforms to network, how do we stand out? How do we get above where everyone else is? Where is our advantage? That advantage is with your book. And so I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can leverage your book to really expand your network. And that will really blow your mind, because once I figured this out, I can get in touch with almost any person that I want. Some people are easier, some people are harder, but because I have a book, it allows me to navigate and get through the noise. So the first thing that you can do to expand your network when you have a book is you can use your credibility from writing a book to get in the door. This is what I call email strength. All right. When you are practicing lifting weights and you first begin and you haven't lifted many weights before, it's tough to get that up. I remember bench pressing and I was just trying to get that bar up. Then you try to get the 10-pound plates, the 20-pound plates, the 35s, and then the 45s. Those are the big dogs, right? Until I had experience lifting weights, until I had proof in the pudding, people didn't take me seriously or people didn't think I was that strong. The same thing goes for you. Sometimes your emails might not seem very strong because there isn't that added oomph of credibility. The minute you have a book, you can use that book to create a stronger email. And so a way of doing that is, hey, I know you're super busy, but this will take 60 seconds to read. You mention a commonality, and then you say, my name is XYZ, and I'm the best-selling author of this book. I would love to talk to you about ABC, aka whatever your book topic is. I think it would provide a ton of value to your people. Boom. Or, hey, I'm the best-selling author of this book. I would love to chat about your philosophy on XYZ related to your book. Whatever it is, all right, whatever it is that you are trying to build that relationship with, and whoever you're trying to build that relationship with, is your book lends credibility. when someone sees that you are a best-selling author or that you are an author, that person now says, oh, wait a sec, this person's more legit, right? And you break through the noise. It's great. Also, a little bonus tip, you can use this in your subject lines. Big time. I like using big time. That's just a thing of mine. But you could say huge intro. Two authors meet if you want to connect with another author. You could say best-selling author meets performance coach, right? You're starting to build that awareness. People are always intrigued, and that's your hook. That's how you build that. So it could be used in the subject line, and it can be used in the body of your email to draw attention, to show credibility, and to prove that you are legit in whatever it is that you are trying to talk about. The second way that I really want to talk about using your book to expand your network is this. Use your book to get past the gatekeeper. All right. So this is if you are trying to get in touch with someone and maybe you haven't had a ton of success. You've DM'd them, you've emailed them, but you can't seem to get their attention. Well, what I'd love to do is I love to do this when I'm reaching out to people that I've always wanted to connect with, but I haven't been able to find a way in the door. Or I do this when I'm trying to reach out to podcast hosts. And what you'll do is you'll email their assistant or you'll email the gatekeeper, whoever's stopping you from getting to them, and you'll say, hey, I would love to mail Jake a copy of my book. And what that does is that opens the gate and gives you a chance to get in the door. Now watch what happens here. Let's say you're trying to connect with someone who could be a dream partner of yours. You've never been able to get in touch with them. All of a sudden, you have a book. You email their assistant and say, hey, I want to give Jake a copy of my book. Let's say I was that person. I'm just going to use me as an example. You say, hey, I want to give Jake a copy of my book. They're going to be like, oh, okay, because that's really exciting. Everybody loves getting a gift. So what they're going to do now is they're going to send you the best address for that person. And now you're going to be able to have the address of the person you've been wanting to get in touch with for a long time. Sometimes this is a personal address. Sometimes it's an office address. It all depends. But what you do is you send them a copy of your book, the physical copy of your book. Everybody loves gifts. You include a handwritten note in that book to further enhance the relationship. And then you have to recognize that your chances of that book and that note getting seen by the actual person you want to get in touch with, those chances go through the roof because now that person is going to receive a package. And once that person gets the package, it's going to get past the gatekeeper. It's going to get in their hand. Then they're going to open it and they're going to be like, wow, this person went through a lot of effort. Now you're going to have a chance to connect with that person. They're going to want to respond to you. And bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. You've now enhanced your relationship with someone who could change your business, someone who could become a best friend, someone who could become a business partnership. Now, the third way that we're going to talk about using your book to really enhance your network and expand your network is that you're going to use your book as a follow-up approach to develop the relationship. So this is all about enhancement. And what I mean by this is when you are networking with people, this is what happens a lot of the time. You meet somebody, you have that first interaction, it goes great, nobody follows up. That interaction was on fire, the flame sizzles, 2 weeks go by, and you're like, I remember that guy, but I don't really know much about him or her. Well, this is how you're going to change it. What you do is you have that first interaction. And again, this is your choice. You don't have to do this for everybody. You can do it for the people that you want to do it with. But you have an incredible interaction. And then instead of just saying, oh, we'll touch base soon, you say, hey, what's your address? What's your address? Hey, copy my book. What's your best address? And what that does now is that facilitates the next conversation. And once you facilitate the next conversation, well, then you are now going to be able to send them a book. That's going to be a second or even third touch point. Then you're going to make sure that they get the book. And that's going to enhance the conversation for at least a couple of weeks. And in that time, you'll be able to really figure out if that relationship's going to go anywhere. So writing a book can be used in so many ways to build your network. You can use it as credibility to get more responses via email. You can use your book as a physical way to getting in the door and past the gatekeeper. And you can use your book as a follow-up approach to further enhance a relationship and actually develop that relationship. These are all some of the things that we teach in Big Idea to Bestseller. But no matter what it is, you have to recognize that it's bigger than the book. It's not just spending all this time to write a book. It's way bigger than that. It's a networking tool. It's a paid product. It's a way to get in the door. It's a gift to give to people. It's a way to sign clients. A book is a way to leave legacy. It's bigger than a book. And I want you to really understand that, because once you do, writing a book becomes the best way you've ever spent your time. You do it once, and then for the next 5 years, potentially even a decade, you have a resource that can generate you hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, because you have this thing. And you're the expert on that thing. So you're so good at talking about it, and it becomes easier to communicate with people. And then people start to know you as that person. And then everything starts to fall into place. Your business starts to grow. Your impact starts to be expanded, and your legacy starts to grow. So that's what this episode is all about. How do you use your book to expand your network? Now, if you want to learn how to actually write your book, I'm writing my book in real time right now, and I'd love for you to join me. I have 90 days to write and launch my 4th book. And I am sharing the secrets along the way. I'm sending daily texts. I'm doing bi-weekly Q&As to answer people's questions. So if you want to get in on the action and you want to follow along and see how I'm writing a book, then go to bigidea2bestseller.com/90 days, 90 days. And this is 100% free. I just want to show you my process. I want to help your dream of writing a book come to reality. So bigidea2bestseller.com/90 days, and you can watch me write my book in 90 days or less. That's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, share it with someone, join us in the program, and I will see you there. I can't wait. Peace.